What's up, everybody? This is D. Darrell Spears. You can call me Coach D. Basically, kicking it today with each and every one of you on this afternoon, chilling at the practice, taking care of business, being a shot caller, being a boss. Decided to do a part two to Deion Sanders from an HBCU perspective, part two. Shout out to everybody that basically gave me an historical show on Sunday. I basically maxed out at at 291 live streamers watching my video. Started off on average, I thought I was going to have an average show of somewhere between 30 to 50. And as the hours passed by, the count just continued to grow, continued to grow. It went from 30 to 50 to 70 to 90, over 100. Then I got over 130, and the most that I've ever had on a live stream was 141 viewers. And we definitely dwarfed that. We doubled that. So I want to give a shout out to the sector, shout out to the black spaces, the black sector, shout out to the manosphere, guys in the manosphere that support me that I've seen in the chat. Shout out to the Umar Johnson sector, the woman sphere, everybody that came out to check me out. And also shout out to everybody that belongs to my HBCU family, those who are a fan of the Deion Sanders situation, those who oppose it. Appreciate everybody to support me because I felt really, really good. I did a 4-hour live stream. I'm going to be honest, guys. The only reason why I did a 4-hour live stream because I saw the eyes watching. You know, if it was any typical live stream, I was trying to shut it down around 2 hours, two and a half hours. I like to shut it down around that amount. I don't like doing over 3 hours, but we did 4 hours. And hey, I had a blast. It was great. There are people who are steadily watching the video as we speak. It has literally almost 4K viewers that have watched the replay. So I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. I don't know what the outcome of this particular video is going to be, this stream, but hey, if more people come back, if half of the people come back, hey, I think I did something. I accomplished something. So let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to Kate DeJour. Shout out to Sexy Toy Lady. What's up, Ray Triggs in the house? Appreciate you all for coming in. So we're going to get to this again. For those who coming in, I know they're going to slowly come in. I expect for a slow increase of people coming in. We're within the first 6 minutes. So we're going to chop it up. We're going to chop it up on the recent developments that involve Deion Sanders. Okay? So I want to kind of go in a little bit on. I want to go in a little bit on the previous show. I mean, you had a lot of people coming in, people that I'd never met before, people I didn't even know, like coming out of nowhere, you know, and they gave their perspective. Shout out to those guys. And I agreed and disagreed with things that were stated. And you know, here everybody's entitled to their opinion. So, you know, people came in, they gave their, you know, opinion, and they stated how they felt. There were those who were against what Coach Prime was doing. And then you got those that, you know, they were more like, hey man, you know, this is about the money. Deion had to do what was best for him. But what I didn't like, you know, is you know, yeah, people trying to say, you know, the HBCU should have did this, they should have did that. And I'm like, damn, you know, I definitely was not going to allow it to be this thing about talking bad about HBCUs. And I created the panel so that it could be people that actually support or they actually attended an HBCU. Because to me, when we look at levels to this, those are the people that really count. You know what I'm saying? And today's panel, I'm gonna open up the panel again today for those that may want to come up. We're gonna have an panel for HBCU alumni and supporters. Okay. Now, I didn't necessarily hold up to that because as I saw more and more people coming, I basically decided to be flexible with that. So I allowed, my boy like Conscious Energy to come up, and he gave his position on it, and he was pretty much on Deion's side. Shout out to Destroy and Rebuild. I mean, I get it. I want Deion to succeed too. I want him to succeed. I want Deion Sanders to make as much money as he can. No cap. I want him to make as much money as any university can afford to pay him. As much as possible. Okay? So shout out to Black Thanos that came in. Shout out to Stella Mighty that came in the other day. Shout out to Wody Mac that came in. Shout out to those guys because they made the panel. Wody Mac and Black Thanos and all of these guys, they made the show. What's up, Slewfoot Slim? What's up? But as we know right now, Travis Hunter, the number one recruit in 2021, is not staying at Jackson State. I want to start off by talking about how Deion talked to those recruits. That's what we need to go to. I want us to look at that. Because that shit was crazy. Deion flat. He just flat out told him, y'all need to go ahead and get in the portal. He wasn't shy about nothing. I want y'all to see this. Excuse me. This was some cold ass shit. And shout out to my boy Super Sly. 85 super Superfly talked about 75 talked about how, man, it was cold. It was cold. Let me show you how cold this shit was. Deion came in there and basically was like, he basically subliminally stated, y'all were losers. I'm bringing my own people. Y'all were losers. I'm not keeping losers. And I'm not sugarcoating. I'm just going to say what it was. Now look at this. I want y'all to look at this because this is basically what he told him. He's like, man, y'all losers. I'm bringing my own dogs. Let's listen to this.
Appreciate you. Thank you. You took my investing in me. I appreciate it. Let's get this. You know what, Jackson State, we got out of the league. I'm still gonna believe you. I've been believing it since I was short. When I told my mother at age 7.
Fair use.
And my actions lined up with that belief. And I had to stop believing. And I have a problem with young men with everything in front of them. Don't believe. That's a problem. tremendous problem. Because you can rescue your mom, you can rescue your father, your friends, your loved ones, the homies, anybody who's looked out for you. You have the ability and opportunity to do that. But you got to believe. It's a spirit around this team, around the school, that is not traditional. In some kind of way, you guys have accepted it, and you've begun to be complacent with it. And even some of the guys that aren't here that's supposed to be here, those are the ones. All this gonna stop. I still have unfinished business to do with Jackson State, because whatever I start, I'm gonna finish. And we gotta go win this championship. We're gonna do that. But then shortly thereafter, I just want you to know it. I'm coming. Not to compete, but to win. Not to show up, but to show out. Not to be amongst the rest, but to be the best. I'm coming. I'm flat out coming. This is real. This ain't no ESPN or this ain't one of the networks you just happen to see on. I'm right in front of you. You know why? Because I'm coming. I'm coming to restore, to replace, to re-energize. Some of y'all that are salvageable. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody that's sitting there butt in the seat ain't gonna have a seat when we get there.
Did y'all just hear that? He just basically told them, I'm going to salvage this program, and y'all and all of y'all ain't basically worth a damn. Some of y'all ain't coming back. So that's just the reality. There gonna be some seats empty. Y'all better get y'all ass in that portal.
But I'm coming.
I'm coming.
I started, and we're gonna go dominate, and we're gonna work. I'm coming to work and not to play. I'm coming to kill it and not to kick it. I'm coming. So you gotta understand. So when I get back, ain't gonna be no hats and no meetings. There ain't gonna be no hoodies on and no meetings. There ain't gonna be no phone. I wish you would bring a phone in my meeting. There ain't gonna be no earring in the meeting. Everybody's gonna look like everybody. I'm coming. It's gonna be a different place, a different feel, a different attitude, a different energy, a different work ethic, a different want, a different hunger, a different desire, a different need, a different capacity. It's gonna be a different reach. I'm coming. See, by now you gotta feel it. You can feel what I'm saying. You can feel where I'm coming from. And you know I ain't playing because I got the credentials to back it up. I'm coming. And you're going to hear it. Because it's going to be little silent little footsteps that you don't even have to strain.
He basically letting them know there's a new sheriff in town, and I'm not letting you all get away with the BS that y'all got away with in the past. Y'all better get ready. So if you don't want to be here, leave.
But you don't know. I'm coming. Just the sake of my voice, the commitment to excellence, that there's not going to be any more mediocrity, period. I'm coming. Some of y'all that really got it, that really want it, that really deserve it, and you got to play beside a fool that don't want it, don't deserve it, they don't even love it. I promise you, it's my job to get rid of it. Coming. I love everything about this institution. I mean, the academics prevalence, no crime, beautiful city, beautiful state. We've never had nothing of sort to work out in, to trade in. Our kids would go absolutely crazy to be in the situation that you're in. But you don't respect it. Okay. You don't want it. Okay. Some of y'all don't even think you deserve it. Okay. And usually when God sends me to a place, he sends me to a place to be a conduit of change. Okay. Uniforms may not even look like they look now. Okay. The place, I guarantee it's going to be some special. Okay. We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me.
Wow.
Okay.
He said he bringing his luggage with him. He just basically told Jackson State, those players, those 3, 4, 5-star players that committed, they not staying. My son is gonna be here, so y'all gonna have to start all over. And he just told them, for those that's been there, whether you're a senior, junior, or whatever, next year, it doesn't even matter. You starting from scratch.
It ain't gonna be no more of the mess that these wonderful fans, the student body, and some of your parents have put up with for probably 2 decades now. I'm coming. And when I get here, it's gonna be changed. So I want y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in the portal and do whatever you're gonna get. Because the more you jump in, it's gonna ruin you later. Because we bring kids that are smart, say that smart, tough, fast, disciplined, with character. One more time. Smart, tough, fast, disciplined, with character. That's the one we're going to get.
I thought that was funny when he told them they're gonna be smart character. They all were on one accord. So to me, it's obvious these guys don't want to leave Colorado, even though they ain't worth a squat. They willing to run through walls in order to please Deion. They don't want to leave because they know many of them may not have a chance to get a scholarship to go to a school equal to Colorado or better. Some of these guys, it may be the end of their college career. Some of these guys may have to go to Division I AA or a mid-major. That's the reality. That's the reality. And hey, Deion really don't give a damn.
Is that you? Is that you? Yes, sir. Is that you? Is that you? Yes, sir. Is that you? Yes, sir. So how bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want this? What are you sacrificing right now to substantiate that you really want this? What are you surrendering? What are you giving up right now? These folks still playing football. We're in the darn meeting. So obviously there's a problem, right? I'm fixing it. So if they ask you what he said in the meeting, what went down? I want you to say with 2 words. Flat out, he just said, I'm coming. Everybody know what that means when I come. Not only am I going to show up, but I'm going to show out. Now, I'm through with mine. Let's get to yours.
This is cold, man. Like, and the thing about it, it didn't take no time. Like right now, these guys are going through finals right now. These guys actually are getting ready to go home. Many of them are not going to be there for next semester. I'm just going to be honest and say this. They will not be at Colorado for the spring semester. Many of these guys, I'm going to say the overwhelming, I'm saying they're probably like 40, 50 people. There's about 40 to 50 kids that are sitting there right now. I say less than 25 will be there, will stay. Shout out to Betty Yellick. I'd say less than 25 are going to continue to be there. He's cleaning house.
I'm here on the spot for any questions. Yeah, quarterback's coming. Yeah, about 10 more I'm coming. And they dogs.
No. He said, yeah, the quarterback coming and the others coming, they dogs.
And they're going to hunt and they're going to eat. Anything else? This is your opportunity. Don't get outside and start talking when you got me right in front of you. Let's get it over with now. Anything you want to say? Is this a question? It could be anything. Yes, sir.
Now I want y'all to listen to these questions.
Position coaches are keeping.
What position coaches might keep? Probably not. Right? It's going to be one of the best stats you ever seen in summer. They're coming.
I'm going to say this. Now, I got to say this. Now, they claim that there are developments. The developments right now are stating that Mike Zimmerman, former coach of the Minnesota Vikings, one of Deion's best friends, professionally and personally, is going to be the defensive coordinator. Deion is not keeping all of everybody that's at J State. So what that's telling me is that the people that he Now this shit is hard. This shit is cold. Those guys that he basically convinced to come to J State to work for 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 dollars to work less than 100K. He's not loyal to those guys. Those guys basically worked for free. Many of those guys are not coming with him to Colorado. He's only keeping a few of them. He started from scratch all over, and he leaving them to the wayside. That's some cold ass shit, but that's the business.
Best recruiting staff you ever seen this summer. They cut. A bunch of go-getters cut. I just met with several to 10 powerful boosters that's ready to give.
They ready to give. Now I gotta say something about the boosters, the damn boosters who ready to give. That AD of or I guess the president or the AD who hired him said that they don't have the money yet to pay Deion, but they're gonna get it. So I don't get that. He's sitting there telling, I spoke to 10 boosters, they willing to give, but they should have had that money ready. You shouldn't have that. To me is some inconsistency where the AD saying we ain't got the money yet, but you got boosters saying they're ready to give. I thought you should have had that discussion with the AD about what you're willing to give.
When I told them I want these kids focused on the NFL, not the NIL. So guess what they told me? They cut.
You want them focusing on the NFL, not the NIL. Now listen. They should be focusing on education. Because less than 10% of them, even with a good team, less than 10% of that team is going pro. So it'll be great to get an NIL deal, if able, but you also get your education. All three need to be a focus.
Good question. Let's start off. Some more. Great question. We got some talking to people that don't want to talk, man. No? Tell them to get in line when they want to talk, right? Talk, man. Let's get it out. Yes, sir.
Major changes you see going forward.
Everything.
Now, that was a dumbass question. What major changes? Why would he keep anything that a 1-in-15 team is doing? What do you mean major changes? The major changes is going to be the fact that most of y'all are not going to be there. It's going to be a total. You're a 1-in-15. Why would anybody want to keep any remnants of a 1-in-15 team as far as how things operated? That don't even make no goddamn. Kelvin Richardson said that was hilarious. That was a dumbass question. Like, I can see if y'all went 10-2 or 9-3 or something like that. There's gonna be some change to the offense. I'm doing this. You got all conference players and maybe all Americans or some shit. I can see them wondering what's the difference. But you was 1-in-15. You shouldn't want to keep anything that happened last year. What's up, Chaos Reign? You shouldn't want to keep a damn thing from last year. Not one goddamn thing. Let me continue.
The way you think about the game, the way you study the game. You know what our kids do? And I hate to keep this on back because I got one more to finish. But what coaches, this is our defensive back coach right now, Kevin Matthews, stand up, Kevin.
They put in time, but really not putting in time. If their teammates, they put in time, but really not putting in no time. So that's what the other time to watch film. I get it every Thursday. We go through every last one of them to see who's actually putting in that time. Who really want to be for the team? And that's how you come up with what you want to start or not. If you're a starter, you're not putting in the right time, you're not starting this week.
I'm going to invest in you and you invest in yourself. I mean, you don't believe in you. I'm going to believe in you and you don't believe in me. You ain't putting in no other time to watch your opponent that's getting ready to try to do you in front of a national audience. So you ain't putting in the time, why would I put in the time? Good question. Let's go.
Next question. Man, look at these kids. Look at all them white boys. Look at these white boys. Look at all these goddamn white boys. And they looking like goddamn. Like this is, man, I don't know. Look, man, ain't nothing. That team, listen, and they got a lot of good white players in the country. This team was like at least 65% white. Not that matters, but that's just, it ain't like you at Stanford or Notre Dame. You ain't getting that type of white athlete. You ain't at Alabama. This is the lowest level, man. And Deion already said you can't wear no hats. You can't wear hoodies and shit. You can't sag your pants, which is definitely a good thing. Man, if I was a fly on the wall when those kids left and went to their dump, to their athletic dump, they had kids who probably packed up and just said, fuck it, I'm going home. This Deion just flat out told them, man, like, look, it's over.
Yes, sir. What's our off-season going to look like? It's going to be a lot of work. Summer. We have a couple breaks in the summer, off season. How should I say this? We're gonna try to make it quick.
Whoa! No, man. Wait a minute. He straight up told them, "I'm trying to make your ass quit." What's up, Amanda NBS? He just flat out said, I'm trying to make you quit. Look, I'm making you quit. I want to basically get all of the those who ain't worth the damn and ain't willing to work, all the losers that cause you to have a 1-15 team, you gotta go. And I will do my best. They gonna treat this like the goddamn Army or Navy or some shit. We are gonna try to make you quit. Bottom line. We are gonna make you quit. And I'm not gonna stop till you quit. So for those who stay, I know you want to be there.
Those of you that we don't run off, we're gonna try to make it quit. That's what our season's gonna look like. I want the ones that don't want to quit. They want to be here. They want to work. They want to win. They want to be appreciative of every darn thing they're getting here. That's what it's gonna look like. Heck of a lot of work. We gotta get you to the breaking point so I know what I got. I don't want to get in the game and then find out I got Jane when all off season I had Tarzan. I gotta figure that one out. And I'm gonna get you there. Great question.
Great question, huh?
What's your plan for like the injured guys?
Get treatment. If you're salvageable, if you're on the list that they told me you weren't darn, it's a wrap. We're gonna hug and kiss and say goodbye.
Damn! No! He said we gonna hug you, kiss you, and tell you goodbye. If you're on the list of ineligible, like, dude, I'm gonna say this: those who ask questions that were pertaining to their own interests. Let me repeat that. These dumbass questions that these kids asking, they asking questions related to their own interests. Eligibility. What are the changes? The guy that asked whether or not we're going to have changes probably don't want a lot to change. His main reason for whether he's going to stay or attempt to leave or stay is how much he's going to change. This guy asked about, so another guy asked about the coaches. Obviously, he got issues that must be important to him with the type of coaches. This guy asked about eligibility, like Negro. I don't know. I can't say Negro because they got a lot of. Let me repeat that because I want y'all to hear this.
Don't mean work, darn, it's a wrap. We're gonna hug and kiss and say goodbye.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back.
For like the injured guys.
Get treatment. If you're salvageable,
if you're eligible. Really?
They told me work, darn, it's a wrap. We're gonna hug and kiss and say goodbye.
Hug and kiss you and tell you goodbye.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
Are we keeping the same strength staff or?
Probably not. Haven't made that distinctive decision yet. Totally. There's probably a couple of decisions I hadn't made as of yet.
Staff? Why would he want to keep a losing staff? Nobody trying to keep on the losing unless they got those who can recruit. The only thing would be worth keeping is maybe those who can recruit.
We just got finished kicking butt last night. I got a day. Great question, though. Anybody else? Coach? Coach Hart? Linebacker coach? How long we been together, Hart?
16 years, 17 years.
Coach, yeah, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, Coach Brian?
You made me smile. Love you, man. Love you. This is part of the staff as well. Son, Bucky. All the stuff you see us post, he's the man. He's been a one-man machine. Now he gets some help. And we don't do. You think we do how you do social media? We know how to do social media. We're gonna bungee jump and follow y'all got.
Now they worrying about the social media shit. This is the shit, man. What's up, Seth Marie? He said, yeah, Heidi Darrell, they were 111. Exactly. Now, listen. Now, we all know. Now, I'm going to say this. Deion had to do social media for J-State. That was a necessity. J-State doesn't get notoriety nationally like that. So you had to use social media in order to bring attention to a school that needed attention. Now, Colorado doesn't necessarily need all that attention, particularly statewide. Now, but the fact that Deion is there, you're automatically going to get a certain level of national attention anyway. So, I mean, that's up to him. I don't think he need to do all that goddamn social media. That's my position at a school like this in a Power 5 conference. But if Deion feels, well, see, I also feel that Deion creates social media content for recruitment. To recruit. That's the only value I see in it. I wouldn't do it, but at that level, but I get it.
1, 2, 3. That's it. That's all we got. Put it out right.
So that's pretty much it. That kind of warms up. Now, guys, anybody that wants to come up and chop it up with me about this, the link is there. So you can get the link. I plan to be here for maybe another hour. Maybe another hour. 30, 45 minutes to an hour. So before I got the link out. I'm gonna take a small little break. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, I am back. Sorry I had to leave briefly for a second. So I am back. We're gonna have a little discussion. I got the link out there for those that want the link. We're gonna chop it up about the video. Please tell me what you think. Anybody want to get the link? You'd be more than happy to get the link. So what's up, Seth Marie? What's up, Meso? Meso say Deion won't be there for longer than 3 years. Colorado is a dumpster fire in a dead conference. Yeah, the Pac-12. I think USC and UCLA trying to leave. I think. I'm not sure about that. So they leaving for the Big Ten. Like that's gonna make that into a bigger conference, a better conference. That's gonna be one that's gonna rival the SEC. Man, you bringing UCLA and you bringing USC to the Big Ten. Man, that's crucial. So yeah, they leaving, and it gives Colorado a chance to be a power if Deion can turn it around. Now, I'm gonna say this, man. USC had a chance to make it. They lost a game they shouldn't have lost, and UCLA typically has a good years here and there. They're both good. UCLA is more of a basketball school, but they have their time in, as far as being in football too. There's possibilities on both hands. So I'm saying to myself, we have to look at this from all types of ways. We have to look at this from a variety of areas, a variety of areas. Okay, so that's the position that I'm taking. That is the position that I am taking, as it involves these clients. As it evolves this conference, this school. Again, guys, send the link out for those that want to come and chop it up with me about this. I know there are people that have, whatever position you have, I'm not here to argue your position. Destroy and rebuild say he's joining a sinking ship. Hold on. He's joining a sinking ship. Kind of stupid on his part if he wants to have a competitive program. We'll see. Wallow 42 says, "Come on, man! They're not going to tell the public their personal business when it comes to university finance." Wait a minute, Wallow. The AD said they didn't have the money yet. He the one came out and said, "I didn't ask the AD to talk about anything relating to relating to Colorado personal finances and sponsorships." He did that. Deion stated he talked to the boosters, and the boosters said, 10 of them, I may say, we're going to take care of you. Okay. I believe that they will, because they got the money. They just bought that big ass workout room. So they can do what they want. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. They gonna give what they can give. So I'm just saying, man, Coach Prime. I guess they want to call him Coach Prime now. You know, people like to call him little names and shit. I mean, man, look,
This is y'all too.
Deion himself is about money first. Let's not get it twisted. This is about money, man. Deion is about money first. We can sit here and discuss all this other shit. Deion trying to get paid. And he wants his daughter to get paid. He wants his sons to get paid. His wife gonna get paid. He trying to get paid first. Now let's kind of piggyback to J State because I was on a show earlier today. Okay, I was on a show earlier today in which shout out to my boy K Business Coaching. Excuse me. Shout out to K Business Coaching. And K is from an HBCU just like me. And so I respect those that come from the HBCU background. Or K Business Podcast. And so me and him have actually done business and talked offline. I have a great deal of respect for my brother. Love him to death. And he created a video. Okay? He created a video and he talked about the stuff with Deion. And I'm just gonna give a small snippet of stuff he was saying.
How's everybody doing today? Hit one if you can hear me loud and clear. Just want to make sure. Have you seen pictures and video of where that school is? It's in a dump. Well, you know, Deion got there, was able to donate half of his money. So he
Fair use
to I think it's to his assistant coaches or back to the school. He was able to get Walmart to donate to fix a new football field, a practice field, because they didn't have one. They had to practice at a high school. He was able to get, you know, top recruits to come there. And he was paid $300,000. Mind you, Deion is not worth. He's valued as a NFL Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl winner, 2-time Super Bowl winner, 1-time World Series winner. He also played baseball, and he's prime time. He's been on CBS. I believe he was on the NFL Network. Deion had his own show on the NFL Network called Prime Time. So, man, the man has done some things before he went to Jackson State. So he took the job because of the HBCU, whatever, right? And now he's moved on to another school, Colorado State, a white school. He was paid. The contract is $5 million per year. And damn, I took a picture of it yesterday. I don't remember where it is, of how the contract is broken down each year. And he gets incentives. It goes up every year. So the whole total package is about $29 million in total. I think it's 5 years or 4 years or something like that. And he gets $5 million a year. And I think it goes up to about $6 million the following year. So it's $29 million. Jackson State could have probably presented more, not even more, but at least $1 million a year to him. You know what I'm saying? And people are upset because he's moving on to a white school, so they're calling him a sellout. Now, if you have that type of mentality, you have a losing mentality, loser's mentality, a slip.
Now that's my brother K. My brother K feels that people are calling Deion a sellout. Now, I'm speaking to, we got 36 in the chat. Do you all concur with that? That is Deion a sellout or is he a opportunist? Which one is it? Is he a sellout or is he an opportunist? What do y'all think? Please let me know in the chat. Give me your position. What do you think about that? Is he a sellout or is he an opportunist? If he's an opportunist, hey, I mean, if you would have heard what Shannon Sharp stated, Shannon Sharp, Destroy and Rebuild say Deion is an opportunist. Definitely. I don't think he'll sell out. But when you make all these promises, man, you got and this is why as black folks, we gotta quit listening and taking for we have to take the rhetoric that others say for what it is. Brian Stevenson said he's an opportunity for coming to an HBCU. Opportunist coming from an HBCU grad and former football player. Okay, get it. He's an opportunist. See, this is the problem. 38 in the chat. Let's get likes up. Deion went to J-State because the big schools didn't want him. The PWIs did not want to hire or take a risk on Deion Sanders. Okay? They didn't want to take a risk. They felt like he wasn't worthy of their program. So now, Negro, you're going to have to prove to us you can coach. You're going to have to prove to us, hey, Doe Eyes, how you doing, Queen? What's going on, baby? Now we're going to have to prove to us that you're worthy of a Power 5 conference. Prove to me. Okay, Renaissance man. See, this is the thing. See, Renaissance man. We say this, but don't make those promises. You got the job making promises. You got the job making promises. Now, when it's time to come through on those promises, one man can't do it all. I mean, Deion, you accepted a job knowing you wasn't getting paid but $300,000 and $500 with incentives and bonuses. Shout out to Renaissance man. He's saying, D. Durrell, I disagree. He could have been hold on. He could have been an assistant coach at a Power 5. He didn't get hired. No, Renaissance man, he did not keep all his promises because he left before those things were fulfilled. J-State didn't need Deion to win a SWAC championship. J-State was winning SWAC championships before Deion Sanders. We're talking about from a monetary perspective. We're talking about the attention, the notoriety, the 4- and 5-star recruits. Deion didn't want to be an assistant coach nowhere. Deion ain't built like that. Come on, Renaissance man. You know better than this. Get the link. Renaissance man. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about this. Deion is not built for that. I bet he didn't know he would have to. No, he didn't have to do a damn thing, Keith Williams. He chose to do that. He did not have to do that. He chose to do that. Now, Doc Ock, the last SWAC championship that JSU won was in 2007. Okay, that was 15 years ago. But I think J-State may have played in 1 or 2 SWAC championships that they may have lost. I get that. But for the most part, J-State had a decent program in the SWAC. They were not at the bottom. J-State was not at the bottom. They were not. Shout out to my Southern University Jaguars. Maybe we need to get us a star for our team. Shout out to SU. Shout out to anybody that's at an HBCU. I don't care if it's the SWAC, MEAC, the CIAA. Shout out to all of y'all. What's up, Renaissance man? Talk to me. Renaissance man? What's up, brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. What's on your mind? Tell me about that. You saying that we can't rely on him to solve all the problems. So go more in depth in that to me.
No, I got to be quick because I'm in the office today.
Oh, no problem. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the thing I've been hearing with all this is that basically, he needed to take it to a whole nother level, and I'm just like, when you look at like the giving of alumni, like it's something like around the area of like 13%. My whole thing is that he basically laid a foundation that people have to basically take the foundation. He's got you the partnerships. He got you the new practice fields. He got you the partnership with American Airlines. He got you the partnership with, I believe, Michael Strahan's clothing line. He put up half his salary to go towards completing the facilities. He got game day to come to your one of your big rivalry games. To me, you as a university, you got to put the next person in place to go and keep those things going. It's not right to me and to hold him to the sense of, hey, you have to continue to stay here and prop this up, because honestly, I don't think that it was all smooth behind the scenes in the sense of, I think there was definitely some resentment that was built amongst people just because they felt like, here's this person who came in and is basically, taking things to a new level and kind of showing up the old leadership. I kind of feel like we need to push our leadership to have a bigger vision. We as people have to support it more, because truth be told, before he came, you were getting like 20,000 people maybe coming to a game versus like actually filling up the stands.
Not at J State. J State always. Well, I know when I went to school, J State traveled really good, and they had a couple of games. I know particularly they had classics that J State had pretty good support. Was it at where it's at now? J State has had games and classes where they had upwards of 50, 60,000 people. But that's not new to J State.
But here's the thing: isn't the general culture around HBCUs is, hey, people really show up for the band, not the football game,
right?
And the tailgate. I'm saying, like, you got to look at that. And then the other thing is, people are like, he's going for. I'm like, you got to look at it in the sense of he is opening the door for other people. Because here's the thing: if he leaves with that situation, now he's going to take some of his coaches with him who are going to get paid. Which he is taking there, so they're going to get paid some of the assistants. You're now opening the door for someone else to come in and take that spot that you had at Jackson State, and it continues to grow your tree. I just think people have to look at it in the sense of, I get people wanting him to stay longer, but I'm like, at the end of the day, you have to look at it like everyone is better off in this situation because he was there. I don't think it was a negative for him being there. People may have wanted him to stay longer, but I just don't see how we can really be mad at him for the things that he's done. I just feel like people got to get out of that mentality of almost having a savior's mentality. We got to work collectively.
Okay, now this is my position. I hear what you're saying, right? Now let's look at. I'm looking at it as a SWAC supporter, as a HBCU graduate from Southern University, who they beat in the SWAC championship. Deion made promises about the community. Now I get it. We can't expect one man to do all this stuff, but he made those promises. He talked about getting the 4 or 5-star recruit, competing with the Division 1A schools. Okay. He talked about making Jackson State a powerhouse. I mean, you were just on the brink of that. You didn't. My thing was, we were looking at him in a position to uplift the SWAC, to make which he kind of did, but not necessarily. Kind of a little bit in the national level. But I'm talking about where the residuals of that would have reached Southern University, Grambling, Alabama State, other schools, and things. I don't think he stayed long. I look, I'm with you. You couldn't expect Deion to stay there for 10 years, but I don't think his work was completed. I think that his work would have been completed if he would have been able to play a Division 1A school from a Power 5 conference, or he would have been invited to a decent bowl game, a decent bowl game where he would have an opportunity to beat a Division 1A school. That was the measuring stick. And I think he left. That could have happened, but he left before that could happen. That's my position. What's up, BK?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, player?
Not too much. Yeah, so I'm a HBCU grad from Morgan State.
Okay, shout out to Morgan State.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of agree with Renaissance, and I see what you're saying, but I think now what needs to happen is he did lay a foundation for all HBCUs. He brought in 4 and 5 star recruits. He brought in, Travis, #1 player. He brought in Coleman, 4-star recruit. He showed that it could be done. So the thing is, there's no more primes. We understand it. There's not another Deion Sanders or anyone on that level who can come in, at this particular point in time, unless when he got like maybe an Ed Reed or a Ray Lewis or whomever, but they're not as active on social media. Deion understands how to play the game today. So what needs to happen is the HBCUs collectively, need to come together and say, how can we take what Prime has done at Jackson State and do it across the board as a collective, because we don't have his persona, but he did show us how to get out of bad contracts with some of these bad classic games. He told us, hey, you know what? If we ain't making $600,000, $700,000 to $1 million, we shouldn't be going out there trying to play these D1 games, because at the end of the day, in most cases, we breaking even. It's not even losing money. So it's kind of like, okay, what can we do as a collective and ultimately grow this thing? Because, there's still momentum right now, and we can't let one man take that momentum away from what's been happening over the last 3 years.
Okay, let's look at that. The momentum. That momentum was created by him.
Right, exactly. So one man,
huh?
That's one man. So the thing
is,
is,
but that one man had a $30 million influence on the city and the university. We have to take that into consideration.
I get that. So the thing is, what if he died? What if he died, last week? What's going to happen then?
Yeah, but that's a hypothetical that didn't happen.
right. But again, what I'm saying is, you still relying on one man. He showed you. The thing is, if I come and show you how to make $1 million, and I show it to you, you follow my steps, and I said, this is how I done it. And you go out here now it's your turn. You go and duplicate how to do it, because I showed you the roadmap. The thing is, we're saying that we can't go further because this one man left. No, we have the ability to go further because we understand we got to get our social media better. Each one of these HBCUs outside of Jackson State, their social media sucks. Let's be real. Kids want the likes. Kids want to be, they want people to, basically give them the love online. We need to start, we need to, build up and understand what's relevant today and get some of these old individuals out of their positions and bring in some new minds who understand that we got to do things different.
Okay. So Okay, I'm going to give you this.
Okay,
He did maintain long-term deals.
right.
So now they got new money that they ain't have before. With
Mm-hmm.
sponsorships with American Airline and some of these major corporations, those are longer term deals.
Right.
Okay? So they are going to operate at a budget much higher than what they're accustomed to
Mm-hmm.
for the next, I don't know, 3, 5, 6 years or whatever, even when he's gone. So I'll give Deion that. But now we got to find somebody that can bring in new deals and maintain what we already have.
So this is where I put blame on the commissioners, because at the end of the day, when Deion was going into those deals, why wasn't the commissioner of the SWAT a part of it?
That's a good question.
You know, so what I'm saying is, if you don't understand, because of course, I look at the MEAC where I balled at, and we struggling as a conference. I don't even think we'll be around in the next 5 years based upon how it's going at this particular point in time, just because of the bad leadership at the top of the conference, and so many schools have detracted from the conference over the last few years. And the SWAT has the ability at this particular point in time, compared to the MEAC, you have a strong nucleus of schools at this point. And the commissioner needs to say, okay, you know what, Deion, you leaving. Let's go ahead and, can we set some time up together where we can, you can put me in touch with, these individuals, the ADs. At the Celebration Bowl, everybody needs to come together. The ADs, the commissioners of the SWAC and MEAC, along with the presidents of the universities, and they need to, maybe sit down with him and say, okay, what can we do as a collective? Because we're not you, but as a collective, we need to know what we can do to be better, and then put a plan of action, moving forward.
Okay, a plan of action. Now, since you're stating that, because I'm picking your brain, because I do think that at this time, see, the SWAC, and to me, the SWAC itself and J State, we are getting attention that is unprecedented.
Right.
Being on game day and all this other stuff on ESPN, all over the place. You got on 60 Minutes. So now we're going to have to up our game up.
Exactly.
So that to me is what I'm looking at. How can we up our game up? So that lets me know the SWAC can be more profitable than what it actually is.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So what he showed is that you got, and again, when I say you guys, I'm talking about all the HBCUs, be it the SWAC, MEAC, CIAA, which are the three major, conferences, say, you know what, you guys been doing it all wrong. I showed you guys, you know what, you need to get sponsorships. This is how I reached out. I used my name to go to Walmart. I use my name, I call, Plank over at Under Armour and say, hey, you know what, come down. I get on our administration at Morgan because I'm like, Under Armour's in your city. Why isn't there signage all over our school? Why haven't they come and invested into our school, into our football program when they're sitting in your city? Again, right. It comes down to, we have a lot of, in all the HBCUs, what I've noticed is we have a lot of, people who are maybe in their 60s and 70s who are still thinking the old way and have not retired, because we need an infusion of young thinkers, 30s, 40s, individuals to come in and say, you know what, this is how we have to do it moving forward.
Right. I get that, man. And so I'm gonna say this. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be curious to see who they hire as the next coach and where they go. Because to me, The person I'm looking at is the president and the AD.
Exactly.
Or are they? Because see, my thing is now we're gonna know: are you serious about putting HBCUs or putting J State at a higher level? Or are you just complacent and not willing to do the work and just keep the status quo? Because if they lose sponsorships and they lose stuff, they don't maintain or add stuff. That lets me know they're lazy, and these people need to go.
So let me ask you this. So are you saying that okay, they need someone who has a name or some or close to a name of a Deion, or are you saying that hey, maybe some of these coaches who may have been fired, say from the FBS, maybe try to recruit some of these black coaches who have coached in the Power Five, and they're not getting their second opportunity. Instead of them going into being an assistant again at a Power Five, hey, come down here, take what your expertise at the Power Five, and help us, down here.
Right. What I'm gonna say, it don't have to necessarily be a name like Deion, but it needs to be somebody that's reputable, more reputable than what.
No, I get that. And one of the things, we went through a hiring similar situation last year because Tyrone Wheatley, the former Michigan running back, played in the NFL for the Raiders. He was our coach, and then he left to go to the Broncos this year. We had to start. And ultimately, one of the things that we were pushing, we had one of our own who's the assistant DB, who's the DB coach for the Minnesota Vikings, who I played with at Morgan, who we tried to get down, and the school wouldn't even reach out to him. He wanted to be the head coach. So right. The thing is, we have, even amongst graduates of HBCUs who balled at HBCUs, who understand HBCUs, who are in the NFL or who are on some of these Power 5 conference staffs. We need to get a pool of those individuals and start putting, some of them and saying, hey, here's some head coaching jobs because you understand, and ultimately they may stick around a little bit more.
Okay. I get that.
I think that's one angle. I think too, us as alumni, we have to start, to really participate. I understand there's a lot of student debt and things of that nature with some individuals coming out of school, and but we have to be more active. It can't just be about homecoming, and it can't just be about a classic game. It's about, filling up the stadium each and every single weekend. Because if we fill up those stadiums every single weekend, then that also shows sponsors that, hey, they're averaging 15, 20, 30,000 a week. I know when I played, dude, we didn't have nobody out there at the start of the game. We didn't have nobody until halftime.
Right.
People waking up because they partied last night and me going out there kickoff. I'm looking in the stands. I just see my mama and my teammates' parents. That's it. None of the student body.
Right.
Into the second half. And that's disheartening when you're on that field because you're like, man, I ain't got no home field advantage.
Right.
So we got to take some. As alumni, we have to take some of the blame as well and say, you know what, I'm gonna go to a game. I live here in Houston, and I go to a Texas Southern game just to be around the experience.
Right. Me too. I'm in Houston too.
Okay.
I try to go to a Prairie View game. I missed the Prairie View game against Southern, but I'll go to a TSU game every now and then.
Yeah, doing stuff like that, It's frustrating because I think that even people who are outside of the HBCUs, and one of the things, I hear more people who are upset who didn't even go to a HBCU, but then come the spring, they're gonna be putting up on Facebook and other social media with their kids going to Texas or some other PWI, and I'm like, well, you ain't even sending your daggone kid to a daggone HBCU. So
Facts. And that's my issue, because that's what I'm seeing on. Because what I'm thinking about doing, BK, I'm thinking about doing HBCU content. I'm actually thinking about making this something, whether it's academics, sports, just the culture of that, because that needs to be talked about. How people who didn't send their kids or don't, but they got something to they want to criticize the HBCU, and they have no real affiliate or no vested interest in it.
Well, absolutely, but they complaining, and my thing is, if you are a parent, your child, when they're looking at school, you need to, hey, have them go on maybe one or two HBCUs, just check it out. Just check out the experience. They don't have to go, but at least get them familiar with it.
Right.
If you're a kid and your child is a 4 or 5 star recruit, you get five visits. Let one of those visits be to an HBCU. You know what I mean? Most likely they know where they're gonna go anyway, but at least let them get that experience, because you never know. So we got to do a better job within the community.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. We got to do a better job. We do, man. And I talked about this on Sunday about as a community, we're going to have to. We need to have a culture of where kids growing up know about these schools and look at them as a potential institution that they want to go to. A lot of kids don't really know about HBCUs till they get older.
Right. I mean, it's funny because, I've lived around the country. I mean, I'm from the DC area, and my mother worked at Howard, and and I was laughing. I was on another podcast over the weekend. Once Prime made his decision, and I said, even growing up in the DC area, we used to think Georgetown was the damn HBCU because of John Thompson and the daggone basketball team.
Right.
So the thing is, I didn't really understand what an HBCU was until I understand where my mother worked at. But I had that opportunity because she did work at an HBCU, and then ultimately, it became more, familiar to me. And I think that we have to get the people's mindsets changed. So many people don't believe that you can be successful from an HBCU, but it's so many of us doing very well. We have to, put that on display.
Right.
Of sports.
Right. And that's true, man. I just think that I don't think a lot of people don't really understand if the HBCU is ran properly, and we have the right people behind it, it can be profitable.
Absolutely.
And I think Deion showed us a small taste of what that potential could look like.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm not upset with him, because he showed. I think it comes down to he showed it the inequalities, and I think a lot of people want a lot of those inequalities changed, not just with Jackson State, but just throughout the HBCUs. And the thing is, again, it goes back to the presidents holding them accountable. It goes back to, from the sports standpoint, the ADs holding them accountable. As you mentioned earlier, as you were talking when I was listening, again, you bring in, I know on one of Deion's videos, a few months back, maybe during the summertime, he talked about, hey, we generated $30 million, but I don't know where all that money went. And I want to know where some of that money went.
Well,
at that point in time, you're supposed to say, what, as a city, we generated 30 million. As a school, we generated, I don't know how many million. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead and start bumping him up and bump some of these assistants up, because we know that he interviewed at TCU last year around this time.
Right.
So we already know that he was interviewing, and he said it.
Right.
So we start bumping him up so that we can give him more money, give his assistants more money, so that he shows that he knows that we are putting in the effort.
Right.
You know, and then I think too, because he did help them make so much more money than what they're used to, when he had to come out of pocket over the summer to finish the facility, why did he have to come out of the pocket when you're making more money than you've ever made before?
Exactly.
You know,
Way more money than what they used to.
right?
Way more.
So I shouldn't have to come out of my pocket when you're making way more money. Where's this money going?
Yeah, where is the money? I mean, but now when I talk about 30 million, that goes to hotels, restaurants, all local businesses, they claim.
Yeah.
Which count? That counts.
That definitely counts, because now those businesses can say, you know what, we can give back a little bit, be it from NIL, you know. I mean, some of the guys who ain't stars, shoot, they get a little 10,000 NIL. That's big.
Yeah, but you know what? Some of those businesses in Jackson State or the state of Mississippi, they can give sponsorships. They don't have to be huge corporate sponsorships.
Right.
Small business sponsorships add up just as much.
That's what I'm saying. You know, because I look at, Armando Baker, who plays at the University of North Carolina, and I know he had talked about, I think, coming back this year, he got over $500,000 to come back for his senior season. And I know a lot of his NIL money came from the local businesses, 20,000 here, 50,000 there. That, like I said, $500,000, for somebody who's still in school. Come on, man.
Right. That's true. That's so true.
I
mean, and let's be honest. Shadua had $1 million plus NIL deal, and Travis Hunter had over $1 million.
Yeah.
So these kids are making lower level NFL money already.
They're making more than the practice squad.
Exactly. So, I mean, all of that to me adds up. When you look at the money, and to me, what I'm looking at is that I don't like the fact, man. You win the SWAC championship, you in Boulder in 5 hours. I mean, you ain't waste no time.
And I get that.
All on social media the next morning. Come on, man.
I get that, but I think because they had to get him out there because of what happened yesterday with the portal opening up. So what I heard, because I used to live in Denver, so I got some friends out there. I got some friends who work at the university as well. And what I heard yesterday was from some of them was they got over 200 inquiries from the portal guys and the recruits, and they haven't had that in years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I think he had to get out there so they can do the press conference, get everything set up, just because they understood what was about to happen from a portal standpoint. It would have been nice that he could have waited until after the Celebration Bowl, but I mean, again, it's about that money at this point.
I get that. It is about the money. So,
and that shows you too the difference between, again, Power 5 and HBCUs, because Power 5 like, look, we got to go. We need you out here. We got to get this press conference. We got to get it going.
Right.
Right.
So in essence, man, we got to move on. I mean, come on. To me, natural human reaction, you're gonna feel some kind of way, but they got to move on.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to move on, and I'm gonna be curious who they hire next. If they get this is what I don't want them to do, and I'm not trying to take away from guys that are in the SWAC. They need a name outside the SWAC.
I agree.
They need a national name. It ain't got to be like Deion, because Deion come one in a dozen. But they need a national name. Either a coach that has achieved something and just want to do this, or maybe a former NFL player that's coaching, and they want a coaching job. That's what they're gonna need. They're gonna need somebody, because for its recruitment, they're gonna need somebody that can convince these kids, these 3- and 4-star kids, 5-star kids, that they can get them to the NFL. So that's what Deion sold. So they're going to have to do the same. They got somebody they think can do the same thing. And so I don't know who that can be, but they're going to need somebody like that. What's up, Renaissance man?
Hey, my bad. My phone went out.
Oh, no problem. What's up?
No. I was gonna say, so now I missed what you were saying, but as far as the names that are floated, I've heard Ed Reed and even Ray Lewis, which I mean, I think those would be good fits.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think part of what you're running into still is just the fact that it's a system that's set up.
Right.
It's just a system that's set up where, unless you're going to topple it all over, it's going to be.
Renaissance man, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Chaos. Go ahead, Renaissance.
I got to keep it short. I got to jump down. Come on, my phone.
Yeah, but hold on, Chaos. You can't just interrupt the man.
Nah, let him go.
Go ahead, Chaos, Ryan.
Yeah, that's the reason why I came up very quickly. I might talk about this later tonight. You gonna be available tonight, Lee Darrell? Possibly.
At what time?
I'm not hearing too much. Right now, probably after 8 at most.
I may be available for about 30 minutes to an hour.
All right. Well, you'll know. All right, thank you guys.
All right. I'll be available. I'll be available that long.
If you can, that's the time I'm probably gonna do it. All right.
Okay. Go ahead, Renaissance man.
No, I was just gonna say the thing is, like, there's only so much you can do as far as, like, they were talking about, like, the number one crew, for example. They were saying that he did not get adequate treatment because they didn't have the facilities. Like, that was part of the, like, when he was going through his rehabs. Like, that's just sort of the things. It's like there's only so much one man can do unless the conferences really come together and stand unified. And I think that, like, there are too many egos amongst that. Because you went to an HBCU, so you know how there's a lot of people really have a problem with the administration, not so much the experience of the school or the students, but they feel like the administration mismanages things. And maybe you have a different experience, I don't know. But that's the general, gist that I get from people, is that they have a problem with the administration. And I think that's what's really holding a lot of this back. And there's only so much he can do if everybody is not on board and people are about their egos, or, people don't want to do something if their name is not on it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, HBCUs are on a very limited budget. And those limited budgets are and seem to be mismanaged at times. That's just the reality. But as Deion pointed out, there are a lot of that money and these deals are mismanaged.
Exactly.
When he talked about those money games where they ain't getting but $300,000 to go get beat up by these bigger schools, and some other schools getting $700,000, $800,000, almost $1 million. That's the difference. And so Deion was like, I'm not playing those schools unless I get the line that I need. Also, they're going to have to pay me more money. Right. They're not giving me no $300,000, $400,000 to beat me 50 to nothing.
And then the travel too, because like I said, he got a deal with American. I mean, people have talked about me. It came out with the bands. I don't know if he didn't think for the band, but it talked about, a story came out where the band basically said, hey, I think it was FAMU, their band, they went to play North Carolina, and I believe they talked about how like their band pretty much had to drive, like take a charter bus on a road trip for like 14 hours or something, get to the hotel, and then the day of like the actual game had to get there, get on the bus, basically go for a walkthrough practice that was like at 11. They didn't get to take a shower or anything, and this is August in North Carolina, so it's super hot, August September time frame, and then they had to they had to eat, get back on the bus. I think they said they had to eat in the parking lot and then go to the game, perform at the game, and then get back on the bus, not be able to get a shower, eat in the parking lot again, and then head home. So that's the thing where it's like he made it. I can't speak for what he did for the band, but I know he definitely improved it for the football team, just how they travel, being able to fly, and then catch a bus there. They're, like I said, I think everybody's upset at him, but I think that we really just have to be upset at the leadership of these institutions, because at the end of the day, the students deserve way better.
Right. I agree. I do agree.
And that's the role of the alumni. And I think, and I wouldn't even say necessarily an alumni. I think anybody in the community can support. People don't like him, but I was listening to Roland Martin talk on his stream. He was like, the first thing that these people go when they go and ask money from corporations and other places, they'll ask, well, how much have your people committed? Mm-hmm. What's the giving rate? And he'll say it's like low, like maybe 10%, some are as low as 5%. And he's like, even if people are giving your school $1 a month, that's where we're dropping the ball collectively as a community. Is we're not putting the money we do have, even if it's not, hey, I can send $1,000 or $5,000. If I can just send you $100 a year, that's way better than nothing. And then once you have that, when you go and try to fundraise somewhere else to a nonprofit or to like a foundation or even a corporate partnership, you're able to say, well, hey, we got 80% giving rate from our alumni. We're underfunded. We have people who are out there who don't make a ton of money as a community collective, but we're doing our best. That's a lot easier to sell to get a partnership than when you say, oh, well, the giving rate is only like 10%.
Right. And that's extremely low.
Mm-hmm.
So what do y'all think about the Colorado AD saying that they don't have the money to pay Deion? Yeah, but they get it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to your donors. Essentially what that means is, hey, they're going to ride the wave of the hype that they think he's going to bring, and they think they probably got some commitments from some big donors. Because Boulder is one of the wealthiest places in America. Like, if you go Google how much a home costs, it's easily in that area. It's easily $1 billion plus. Easily.
Yeah. They, like I said, I used to live out there, so the money's there. The boosters are there. I think it comes down to, because they had a final meeting. I believe it was a Saturday night. They had a final meeting with all the regents and everybody to approve, and then ultimately the boosters, kind of gave their commitment. And then again, because it is a state school, it still has to go through, the state government or what have you. It goes through the chancellor and then the regents, and then the state still has to sign off on it as well. So I'm thinking that, okay, yeah, the boosters are there. Everything just hasn't been signed off by the state yet.
Wow.
But the state probably has approved it verbally. It's the checks and balances, because you have to have all the paperwork done for the audits and things like that when it's time for all of that, when they're doing their audits over the years and things. So the money's there. I mean, plus the Pac-12, they're also working with Amazon right now to sign a deal, a streaming deal that's supposed to be worth $70 million per school per year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking. That's major money, man. And one thing that I talked about in the first show that I did on Deion, the part 1, was that if the SWAC really wants some real money, they're going to get a good. They need to get a big TV deal because that's really the heart of the money that go to these schools.
I think they got one.
Huh?
I think they got one with Byron Allen and his network.
They got one with him, but I mean, I think the challenge is, and it goes back to people have to attend these daggone games. You know, if it's not homecoming, most of the HBCUs only get a few thousand people at the game. The community has to come out because no one wants to give no money when you have a whole bunch of empty seats out there.
Right.
You know, I mean, homecoming, everybody out there. I mean, any homecoming you go to, it's packed.
Right. Right. Or if they have some type of classic, like kickoff classics and different stuff like that, where they had a neutral site. Like for me, I'm gonna say this, man. I thought it was horrible for Southern and Grambling to play at Southern and J State to play at J. They should have been at a neutral site.
Right.
They should have been at a better venue than that.
I don't know why they stopped it from coming to NRG because I was
exactly that's what I was saying, man. It was great when it was at NRG.
I would go to. I went every year. I've been here for 8 years in Houston.
And man, I went every year, like from 2013 to 16 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like 3 or 4 years they had it, and I went every year. I mean, I was there. I had a great time.
Yeah.
They had a battle of the bands after the game. I mean, it was great.
And it was always 50,000 people.
Right.
Minimum.
Exactly. They should have kept it in Houston. They really should have.
I don't understand what happened with that. But again, I think that goes back to sponsorships. It goes back to, again, SWAC leadership has to say, you know what? We have to start thinking like a business, because that's one thing a lot of the HBCUs don't understand. You are a business. You're not you're a school, you're a university, but you're a business first. And you have to think like a business.
Right. What's up, Vegas Gates?
What's cracking, D? How you doing? How you doing, fellas?
Man, I'm looking forward to your next video, man. That's what
I'm going. Hey, I'm going down your path. Hey, well, I kind of caught you guys in the middle, so you guys may have already covered it. And it sounds like at least two of you. I know D, you went to a HBCU, and I know the other brother went to a HBCU. That has not been my experience. But one of my best friends out here in Vegas, he went to Mississippi Valley State, and he swears by it. He's like, man, the experience. He tried to get me to come to homecoming every year. He tried to get me to go to homecoming with him. I haven't made one. So what is like what's the ideal scenario? I mean, what do you guys hope for, in the future for HBCU sports? You know what? Or what's like? Well, let me answer that question first, if you guys can, please.
Okay. I'm gonna say for me, and I go to everybody else. Okay. For me, I think that for HBCU sports, the needle has increased to the point where you should be able to get a few 4 stars or even a 5-star every now and then. HBCUs they didn't even approach these guys in the past. Now I think the standard is you need to start recruiting some of these guys, and you may get 1 or 2 of them. You may not get any of them, but we need to start getting. We can actually recruit and get better talent to play. The second thing is that due to the NIL deals and things like that, we need to start getting more sponsorships and more visibility as far as on the national level. And things of that, as far as the money itself. The SWAC conference, like the SWAC, the MEAC, we're gonna have to up our game up on that, on the money. Mm-hmm. That we're gonna have to up our game up on the presentation, the money, the facilities. We should not have subpar medical staff and subpar that needs to stop. I think that I'm not saying that the HBCU should function like a Power 5. But they should be doing at least twice as good as what they're doing right now. So that's where I'm at. I think they can get some of the talent. Of course, you're not going to get no full roster of 30, 40, 4 stars and 5, but you should be able to get at least 10 to 15. You should be able, you can get some of those guys. So that's where I see it potentially going if these guys do the right thing. If they pick off where Deion left off, they should be able to get some of those guys.
Right.
BK, you have any input on that? Any response?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that just to add, I would say, another thing, the alumni has to be more engaged. As you just mentioned, Vegas, Gates, your friends trying to get you to go to homecoming. Unfortunately, for most of the HBCUs, that's the only time they see, a maximum amount of fans. So again, as a business owner, if I'm looking at a school and they want me to help them, want me to sponsor them, I want to know that my sponsorship is going to be, a whole bunch of eyes are going to be on my signage, within your stadium and things of that nature. And people are going to know who I am as a business. And unfortunately, I think that's one gap that we have. Secondly, and Renaissance man kind of mentioned this earlier, at a lot of HBCUs, the management of how things are run are a little behind. So we need to get more business professionals, more people who think out the box. One of the things that JSU did, they thought out the box. They said, you know what? We're going to go and try to get Prime because we know he wants to coach. We got to start thinking out the box and start really coming into the 21st century, because I think we have too many people who still live in the past. Past history and things of that nature, and they're not looking about how we can grow and looking at, we, even though we're not a Power 5, what are some of those Power 5s doing that we can come and use, at our level, so I think those are some of the things that we need to do, and just more engagement overall from the people who didn't, like yourself. Like you said, you didn't go to a HBCU, but ultimately you have kids. You have nieces, nephews. Talk about the HBCUs. When they're looking at schools, hey, you know what? Have you considered HBCU? Put one HBCU on your list, and let's go to their homecoming and let's check it out. Their junior year or their senior year when they're looking at schools to go to, just so they are engaged. And now you start to build a momentum, organically.
Right. Most definitely. And just to touch on the part when you say, well, my kid, my son just went to the Air Force, but that reminds me, because I remember my father-in-law, like back in the day, and I heard you kind of touch on this earlier, he kind of always, gave the HBCUs a bad name. He ain't never even been to one. So, I mean, like, where did you get this, this notion that they're bad for whatever reason? And that kind of passed down to his daughter, my wife. So HBCU was always out, but they don't even know why. You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of wrong. If you never been there, I mean, how can you talk about the experience if you never even, even attended one, or if you don't even have a relative or anybody that attended one?
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, So I thought that was crazy. But here in Vegas, it's a Pastor Kelsey West. He has he does it every year. He does it's a college tour, all HBCUs. So that's an organization he has down here that he takes. He takes a bunch of kids down south somewhere, like it's all black college tour. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and the thing I see with the HBCUs, and like you said, like Dieter, you say they could get a couple of recruits, man. But the way I look at it, it's kind of like the mom and pops going up against the Walmart or going up against Amazon. Because when I seen those facilities, when I seen Deion walking through that damn Colorado locker room and all that, I'm like, it made me want to. I'm like, damn, I need to suit back up. I want to go join Colorado. Right. I'm like, shit. So it's like, how do these? Like in a perfect world, I know black folks, if we can keep our own, we can grow. But just the money, the facilities, the resources. I heard you talk earlier about the TV deals. Right. All that big money is just learn all our talent away. It's like, no, come here. You're going to go to Jackson, Mississippi, or are you going to come to Florida, or are you going to come to Texas and look at these facilities, Colorado. So In a perfect world, yeah, let's all stick together. Let's put this money together. Let's build these facilities. Let's upgrade everything and get these TV deals. In the perfect world that'll happen. We may not see it in our lifetime, but like you say, it has to start somewhere.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I do think that, listen, as I was telling people, like, look, man, we can't expect J State to pay Deion Sanders $5 million. But I do think when that money started coming in, they could have paid him $1.5 million to $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
They really could have. They could have. Because he had a $30 million. If he brought the city that kind of money and all of that and this and that and all these different things, they could have upped the ante and just paid his assistants, which is really one of the things he complained about. He wanted his assistants to have more money. They could have did that, man. You can't be cheap. If you trying to be better, you can't do it for cheap.
Of that, again, of that 30 million, again, and we know that was all around, Jackson, Mississippi itself.
Right.
That's kind of think about, okay, approximately how much money do you believe they were bringing in? And that's just the school itself prior to Prime, 2019, to the point where, we know last year, 2021 it was 30 million. It'd probably be like 40 or 50 million this year once we kind of get the final numbers. How much do you think the difference was?
Before he came and when he was there?
Yeah, that Jackson was.
Yeah, I don't even think it was over 15, maybe 10, somewhere between 10 to 15, maybe possibly, and that's being generous,
right? So let's just say they doubled their amount, so it went from say 15 to 30. You know what? He brought we generated 30 million as a city, because even me as the mayor, I'm even saying, man, our city generated 30 million. Hey, president, let's find a way to get this man some more money.
Right.
He brought us 30. How much can he bring us next year? And so on and so forth, or give him some type of incentive based upon, if we hit this threshold, you get a percentage of the stuff, something.
Right. And I do agree with that, man. If I was, to me, who really the biggest loser outside the J State is actually the city of Jackson. Because if you bring in that kind of tax money, that's a lot of tax dollars that the city was getting. They may not get that, or it may be difficult to maintain it.
I'm gonna tell you, like, ready to go to a game. I didn't go to Jackson State. I don't have nothing. Again, I'm a MEAC guy. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to a game. I was thinking about going next year. I'm going to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, next week.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I wanted to go and just check out the vibe and see what they were doing, being on the ground, because I wanted to take some of the stuff that they were doing and kind of, take it back up, to Baltimore and say, hey, this is what they're doing in Jackson. We need to do something similar.
Right. Now, what about if J State would have gotten an invitation to go to the Peach Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or something like that? Maybe not a top, but not the bowls like the Sugar Bowl or the Orange, but they would have got the Poinsettia Bowl. What if they would have got a bowl like that, like a minor, like a mid-major type bowl? Mm-hmm. What that would have done for the school?
I think that really would have been huge. That national exposure with the band. With all the excitement, because Black folks, we are trendsetters. Mm-hmm. We do set trends, and let's just be honest, man. The powers that be, they don't want to really see that. They'll throw us a little bone, like, here you go, here go ESPN Game Day and all that. They'll throw us that. Let me ask you guys this question real quick too. Prime Time, his name is Prime Time. So do you guys think the location, Jackson, Mississippi, had anything to do with it? I've never been to Jackson, but I said, let me do a YouTube search just on Jackson, Mississippi. Like, what's the area look like? Crime rate, all that. So what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think the location had anything to do with it? Crime, all that.
Well, Jackson State is really like the biggest city in Mississippi. So, and it is a majority black city.
Right.
But also prior to Prime coming there, Jackson State is actually has made some improvements. They actually are a fast growing city too.
Yeah.
So there are some positives, but you got to understand that there's a lot of the old guard slow to the new changes that are happening because Jackson State is an up and coming city. I think the location was perfect. The as far as the institutions and the demographic. I mean, I think it was a good fit for him. You know. Now you saw Boulder, Colorado is a little different.
That's snow bunny land, man. That's snow bunny land up there, man.
Yeah, man. So like that's a little different, but hey, that's what he chose. So you know, but I do think it was a good fit for him.
Yeah,
man.
They embraced him, you know, and I've been there, you know, and you know, again, me being from the East Coast, going to Jackson for the first time, it was a little like, you know, culture shock. But at the same time, you know, like D said, it is a growing city. And there's right now is the time to really be in Jackson as they're starting to try to really grow and expand.
Right.
Well, you know, the thing is, like, you know, I hate to see all the bashing because it just goes back to all the stereotypes that they put on us. We can't stick together. We always tearing each other down for whatnot. I mean, but at the end of the day, this is football. This is the business of football. Whether you get fired, whether you get a promotion and move on, I get it. We all like the story. We all love that fairy tale of all our recruits, high school recruits, going to HBCUs and just going up there and beating a damn Alabama or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think we all was kind of hoping for that, you know. But at the end of the day, it is business, man. You know. So I hate to see everybody just trying to tear the brother down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish him the best, you know.
I gotta wish him the best. I mean, I would have liked him to stay a little longer because I saw. To me, I just wanted to see him do something that could have transcended sports. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be hard for somebody else to replicate that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, I don't know. We just gotta see how that you know who they hire. To me, if they can hire Ray Lewis, they can. I'd rather take Ed Reed than Ray Lewis. I think Ed Reed got some coaching experience, but that's just me. But we never know.
Well, Ray Lewis. I'm sorry. Go ahead, BJ. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. I was going to say, even if one of them did take the job, because when we were looking for our coach last year at Morgan, we were trying to say, "Hey, go out there to get Ray Lewis," especially being in Baltimore. Right. And one of the things that came up that was a valid point is the thing that made Prime so great is Prime knew how to market online. Ray don't be online like that.
Right.
You know, so Prime is just different. You know, like he understands the entertainment part of it, and that's what made him successful at Jackson. Ray is going to understand football, and he goes into a kid's house. He's going to be able to get the 4 and 5 stars, but I don't know if he understands the entertainment part.
Right.
I think
and you know what? You know what that reminds me of, because you kind of hit it right on the head. It reminded me of the years when Reggie Bush went to SC. You remember Pete Carroll? Mm-hmm. Pete Carroll, he was bringing Snoop in the locker room. He understood the entertainment part of it, and that's when SC was hot. So I think Ray Lewis has that personality to be able to do that. Ed Reed seemed always kind of quiet. He might be a great coach, but he seemed kind of quiet. But to me, the personality of Deion, like you say, the primetime persona, that's kind of what got all the hype going. And like you say, that social media presence and things like that. So that's kind of what the HBC, you know, that's what it needs. I thought the beef with the one coach, I forgot what school it was. I thought that was good, even though it was kind of a beef. But you know, they say about I forgot what the word I'm looking for. Any attention or something. I forgot what the word. But yeah, man, I think the HBCUs need something, you know, kind of like that. I think they can find somebody else.
Yeah, they can. It's not the end of the world, but it's a huge blow, man. I mean, I just wish you would have. To me, I would have liked him to stay one more year, but hey, because my thing is, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. That Colorado job is not an attractive job. Hey, I'm
Right.
just gonna be honest, man. It ain't, man.
I looked
Nobody.
at their record, 1-11. I'm like, damn, they was terrible.
They've been lousy for like. That's not an attractive job, and I mean, Boulder, Colorado is all I can. I mean, it is really. I mean, they got money. They in a Power 5 conference, but outside of that, I'm just sorry, man. Like everything else, it's really like Boulder, Colorado ain't sexy. Like nobody really like. You know what I'm saying? Like Deion, it's a more conservative situation.
That's true. Like I said, I lived out there. I lived in Denver, and Boulder's not that far, so I've been to Boulder. And when I went to Colorado, again, I went for a job at the time, and I was a little scared, but it's not different than what I thought it was. It's more of us than what you think.
Okay.
So we're concentrated. So as a kid, I don't know how they're going to adjust. I'm pretty sure that he'll have some things to make sure that it's easy for them. The one thing they have to be, worried about is because it happened to Eric Bieniemy, it has happened to Chauncey Billups when they were going to school there.
Right.
So those snow bunnies out there, they gotta watch themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm scared about. But
weed is legal.
You can win there because when I was again during my era, I'm 47, so during the 90s they were a powerhouse. They had a Heisman, they won national championships, so it can be done. And Prime is the perfect person who can do it in the NIL portal era. If it was no NIL and it was no portal, I would say this is a hard job.
Yeah,
I agree.
He has that portal where he gonna pull kids and that NIL money, that weed money.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like who transfer, what recruits he get. That's what I want to see. I want to see like, is he gonna steal some like #1 recruits?
Oh yeah, I see him. I can see him taking all of the top tier the talent in the state of Colorado. I think he's gonna get that. But he gonna have to recruit. He gonna have to recruit California.
Yeah,
hard. He gonna have to recruit Southern California hard.
Yep,
hard. I'm talking about you gonna have to get all your dogs gonna have to come from California.
He'll get some people from down here too,
right?
Texas. And you'll get some Arizona.
Right.
Yeah, but California's gonna be the hub. You're right. California.
Yeah, he gonna have to get all his dogs gonna have to come from California. Like, I mean, he gonna have to get the core of his team gonna have to be from LA on down. I mean, the whole state of California's got nothing but talent. Yeah. But mainly, man, you're gonna have to get that talent from California if you're gonna really be dominant. You know what I'm saying?
Out there with Vegas is that, and also over there at Gorman. You're gonna have to come there and get them Gorman guys.
Right?
Yeah, get the Bishop Gorman guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get this thing with USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. Man, that's gonna be a lot of trap. They're gonna have some big traveling expenses.
But again, it came down to
they
money.
Can afford it, but
I thought it had to be money. That's what I was thinking.
It came down to money. And going to the Big Ten now again, you get that footprint in the Midwest, and that's what they're thinking about. It's all money,
right?
Like
it's crazy.
Obviously, the Pac-12 must not be making the money they must not be happy with the money they making in the Pac-12 to go to the Big Ten.
Right, exactly. That's why they're trying to get that Amazon deal. Like I said, the Amazon deal is supposed to be $70 million per school per year.
Damn.
So I know they're in negotiation right now, I don't know how many years it's going to be or when they're going to sign off. But I know Amazon is definitely, trying to get that deal.
Damn, man, that's a hell of a deal. That's 70 million per school.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 70 million per school per year, from what I heard.
Ooh, man, that's crazy money.
Yeah, they throwing that money around. When they throw that money around, man.
What if the SWAC? Let's say the SWAC got 25 million, a third of that. Now you know how much that would do for the school. They all got 25 million per SWAC school. That would do a lot. Let's just say somebody like Lyft or Uber Eats or something like that. Uber gave the SWAC schools. They didn't get 75, but they got like 20, 30 million. And to me, that's what I think the SWAC. That's how the SWAC gonna have to think in order to move, or the MEAC or Black HBC. We have to think like that. We know we can't get the Power 5 money, but we can at least if we can get any decent sponsorship is better than no sponsorship.
But the thing is, now, when was it? Was it last year or early this year? I think it may have been early this year when, what was it? Bezos' wife was giving all the HBCUs money. I know she gave my school, I think, about $40-50 million. I don't know where that money went, though. No one knows where the money went.
Man.
You could use about $5 million to just put into the football program. So again, the piss poor management. I don't know where this money going, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. We got to have some.
You in the we can't hear you underwater.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Y'all still there? BK, you still there?
I can hear you, brother.
I'm here.
Yeah, maybe it's my phone.
Is it you, Vegas? You hear us?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you, D. I think Vegas is having trouble.
Oh, okay. All right. G, can you hear me? Let me take them out. Can you hear me, G? Damn, something went wrong.
Yeah, his beat probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this, man. I'm interested. I know there's a bunch of players went to the portal.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that process looks like as far as when those guys go in the portal. Do they go to the same school the following year, or they gotta if they get picked up, they go to the school that picks them up the following in the spring, or they wait till the fall? Like, how does that work?
No, so once you go into the portal, based upon what scholarships are available. Like, so for instance, if Colorado Prime looks into the portal and they see players that they're interested in, they'll contact them. And ultimately, they may come out there just to do a visit, or they may say, you know what, I'm ready to come, coach, and boom, they'll go ahead and start the process. And a lot of them probably gonna be out there during the springtime. For the spring semester. That's why so many of them, jump in right away so they can go to their new school in the spring.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna go to school in the spring.
So yeah. They,
wow.
and then you'll have some people who jump in the portal after spring ball because for whatever reason, they may say, you know what, it just ain't working out. So then you have more people who jump in after spring ball, and then they have until a certain point in time, until like June or early July, something like that, to where they have to, be picked up, and then that's it, and the portal closes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that portal has changed the game up, man.
Big time.
Because you got to think, like last year, like you take USC, for instance, they only won 4 games, and then they almost made the damn playoff this year, just because.
Right. That is true, man. And it don't take a lot when you in the portal, you can easily rebuild your team.
Right. That's the thing. So you got to, so you're gonna have your recruits, the young guys, you get a few older guys in that portal. I mean, because just after the Celebration Bowl, you'll see all the JSU guys jump into the portal after that Celebration Bowl.
Right.
You
True.
know, and then boom, they picked up. They probably already looking at their grades and stuff. I don't know if school out yet, for them yet, but once we final grades and everything, they probably gonna already start doing the daggone transferring behind the scenes.
Facts. Well, we already know the players that went into the portal for J-State. A bunch of them went, and Deion already took all the 4-star and 5-star recruits. He already got them leaving, so yeah, he already nipped that in the bud. He got the players, the players that he wanted. They coming with him. So
yeah, he Travis, probably Coleman. I would think the receiver. He ain't playing. So let me ask you this though. Being that you went to Southern and being in the SWAC for over these last 3 years that he's been there, what impact have you seen for your school? We've all seen everything for JSU,
right?
But what impact have you seen for Southern?
Well, I'm gonna say this. What I can say is that I've seen more people talking about the SWAC period. When Deion first, even the last 3 years, when he came there, I've seen more people casually talk about the SWAC. Also, I've seen say just regular sports shows and whether it's on ESPN or on radio, because I listen to sports radio.
Yeah,
I've even seen them mention Southern, Jackson State, others that when they would never mention those schools. So what I've seen an improvement is exposure, where people are actually paying attention that would not watch the SWAC, they watching the SWAC. Casual fans watching the SWAC, they would never watch the SWAC.
Gotcha.
Mainly from outside of our community, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of those people watching and wondering what's going on than, years before he came, they really didn't care, but they are watching. And they want to see what he's doing, and they basically lock on to some of the teams that are there, particularly if that team is in their state. Yeah, they talking more about, say Southern got a lot of exposure by being on game day with Jackson State, right? Big time. That was big time exposure, right? Then they play them again in the SWAC championship and get more exposure,
right?
And then we already get exposure for the Bayou Classic. That's what we've been getting. We to me, Southern and Grambling, the Bayou Classic is like the height of black college football.
Right.
Because we've been having national exposure with that game for the last almost 30 years.
Yeah. It's been more than 30 years. I was still in high school. It was coming on. Again, I'm from the DC area, and that's one game that I would love. I always used to like to look at. When I was a kid. So
yeah, and that was big, man, for Southern and Grambling to get that national game.
Right.
On Thanksgiving weekend, that was like big. You know what I'm saying? And it exposed the country to whether you in the Midwest, the North, and stuff like that, to black college football.
Right.
And it did a lot. To me, that game did a lot. But that game did a lot. And I think that in the last 30 years, they haven't done enough to create stepping stones. They haven't done enough to feed off of that game. There should be other rivalries that should have an equal game to the Bayou Classic. But it's not. You know what I'm saying? There should have been other classics that should have gotten a national push, like the Bayou Classic. So and to me, I blame again administration, ADs, presidents. They get complacent. They get the little money. We don't know where the money went. You know how that goes. We don't have to repeat that, but I think that's the issue. And so I'm again, and I'm gonna go ahead and close. I'm gonna give you last thoughts, but I think that's the issue with the SWAC, with the HBCUs. Are we going to improve over time and make things better, or maintain and go to a higher level? And we're not doing that. I'm only going to see if J-State able to do that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think it's going to come down to, and which has been great over the last couple of weeks since Prime has the Scuttlebutt came up. More and more people have been jumping on these podcasts, kind of talking about it. And ultimately, I think it's going to have to start here. To tell you the truth, it's going to have to start with these podcasts, and then the people from these podcasts coming together and putting pressure on these schools, putting pressure on these conferences and saying, like, look, we're not going to tolerate this anymore, and we need to see, we need to see not only like a Jackson State be successful, but we need to see our schools be successful. There's been a game plan, already laid out. Let's see how we can come together to make it happen for everybody. Everybody got to eat right now.
Right.
And I think it's going to have to start right here. And again, it's going to have to be a collective.
Right. And I agree with you, man. So, well, brother, I appreciate your commentary. I appreciate the fact that you and I wanted to hear from people who have the HBCU experience, and you actually went pro, played in the played at that level, and went to school there, got your education, and you're successful. So that you're the type of person I want to hear from.
No,
because my thing is, like, people that, man, I don't understand why the HBCU. I'm like, I don't want to go through explain. I got to go through all this stuff about HBCUs. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's like now I gotta. To me, it kills the conversation if you're not familiar with these type of schools, but you trying to figure out why this and why that. I don't have time to go through the whole history of how things are and why it's the way it is.
I tell everybody, I said, one thing you can bring up to anybody who went to an HBCU, all you gotta do is say financial aid line.
Long ass financial aid line. That's what you should say, not just financial aid. A long ass financial aid line. You're gonna be there for 3-4 hours. That's what it is. That's what it is. So, but brother, I appreciate you for coming in. I'm about to go ahead and get out of here. I thank everybody for coming in. This is Coach D. Darrell Spears. Y'all have a great day. Peace.
All right. Be safe.
Peace.